to the anniversary of RetroCore. This is volume 14. RetroCore exactly 1 year old this month in November. And kicking off the show is Buster Move for the Sony PlayStation, better known as Buster Groove in the West.
Disco Fever.
So as you can see, it's a dance game. Pretty obvious, really.
Wow!
One thing that may not be so obvious is how the hell you go about getting the rhythm and your button presses. Well, as you can see, on each side, on the one player side and the two player side, you've got arrows and an X and a circle button. The arrows actually don't mean anything. You can actually press them or just leave them. What is the most important thing is the actual circle or the X symbol, either of which you can choose. So as you can see, the actual arrows flashing yellow there, that actually goes with the beat of the music. And on the fourth beat, you have to actually press the circle or the X button. And actually on this song which is playing now is actually more difficult than it sounds.
Oh no!
Of course, if you do the arrow presses along with the combination of the X or the circle button, you do get extra special moves and a better dance combo, which results in the green power bar at the bottom going up till it hits max. When it hits max, you can let rip with a nice little special to disable the opponent. As you can see now, I'm doing my little solo. Chance to get the power back up. So one thing you might be wondering is how do you know actually if you're winning or not? Well, as you can see at the moment, the camera is actually pointing more at my character, but if I miss a move, the camera will actually pan around to the second player. So if the camera's pointing ahead most of the time, you know that you're losing. The actual green entry bars at the bottom don't actually mean anything when you come to win the game. It depends on where the camera angle's pointing. If the camera angle's pointing both of you evenly, then you win by default. So as well as including the normal playing modes, they've actually got a practice mode which you can see here, which you can practice combinations and your timing of each song. Throughout this mode you can actually choose any player you'd like, except for the hidden boss characters of course. One thing that you may not know is that if you buy a Japanese first print of this game, it comes with an extra bonus disc, which features an interview with the woman who sang the song just before this one, along with a couple of previews of Enix games. So these days Buster Move is a bit dated as far as dancing games go, but it's still a pretty good title. should give it a good 7 out of 10. Back in the days when I was really into the Sega Mega Drive, I bought myself a copy of this game, Alisia Dragoon. And instantly, I was a born-again Mega Drive player. Actually, I remember picking this up at the same time as Devil Crash. Back then you couldn't get me off the Mega Drive, thanks to these two games. So as you can see, Alisia Dragoon is a walk-along scrolling shooter, or platform shooter I should say, starring our heroine Alisia, who happens to be some sort of witch who can fire out lightning from her hands. Well, it's not really unusual, see it every day myself. But what is unusual is the fact that she can control dragons. That's right, Alisia has some sort of a hormone, or not hormone I should say, pheromone that gives her the power to possess dragons and make them follow her around. Very useful, I'm sure. Anyway, throughout the game, Alisia picks up different dragons. I think it's a total of 4 or 5 altogether, which can aid her on her quest to save the world from the main pissed off bad guy. So as you can tell, I'm probably not too good at telling the story of Alisia Dragoon, but what I can tell you is that the game is one hell of a tough game. But not tough in the way that you're going to be pissed off because you're dying for no reason on your own. See, the thing with Alisia Dragoon is that you can't actually rush through the levels, you've got to take it step by step. So actually rushing through one level to complete it isn't going to get you anywhere. You're going to end up getting killed mostly. So anyway, every now and then throughout the game we get these little cutscenes here, which sort of explain the plot of the game, not that you really need it, to be honest. I must congratulate Game Arts on the amount of colours they've used in Alisia Dragoon. The actual game does look quite a feast, especially if you're running it through RGB. The majority of the levels do look pretty nice. There are 1 or 2 levels that do look a bit naff, but as I said, overall they are pretty good. And that musical score is excellent, it really adds to the atmosphere of the game. One nice thing I like about Alisia Dragoon is the fact that there's all sorts of hidden bonuses. So you really do have to search those levels to get all the power-ups and extra dragon icons and so on. Throughout the game, as you can see there, you can select a different dragon depending if you've collected them, that is. Each dragon has a different means of attack, such as this one that you can see here fires out fireballs. It's another one that electrocutes the screen. There's like a will-o'-the-wisp type dragon as well, and there's one that fires out boomerangs. Obviously, she's been to Australia for that one. For those of you that were brought up in the PlayStation generation, you unlucky bastards, will probably thinking, what's so good about this game? Well, just get off your ass and go find a copy and play it, and you'll soon find out. Alisia Dragoon is a pure classic example of what gaming was all about. Got myself an extra credit there by the looks of it. Just look at that background there with the water, absolutely lovely. Here we go, one of the more tedious levels in the game. Yeah, horizontal, the diagonal space station. What the hell is a space station doing in the middle of a mystical world? I don't know, but there you go anyway. This is actually the second part of the space station full of zombies. First part's actually full of robots. One thing which is very nice about the Japanese version of Alisia Dragoon is the actual box art. It's got some really beautiful artwork on the front cover and in the instruction box. Unfortunately, the British and also say the PAL version and the American version completely butchered, and you got the typical woman looks like a man type artwork, which is a great shame. Unfortunately, Alisia Dragoon in Japanese form can be quite pricey. The cheapest I've seen it this year, that's 2005, it's only 6,000 yen. Usually it fetches around about 10,000 yen, so it is one of those pricey games, unfortunately. But I'm a lucky bastard and got myself a nice copy. Original, that is, not a copy. Anyway, Retro is very happy to give Alisia Dragoon the wonderful score of 8 out of 10. A very solid, classic walk-along platform shooter that every Mega Drive owner should be checking out. One of the earlier games to be released for the Sega Saturn, this is Astal. And considering its age, it's actually quite impressive. Well, as far as looks go anyway, and sound. Unfortunately, playability is not that hot, but let's see why. So you can see Astal has various attacks here. You can actually pick up enemies, as you can just see there, and also pick up background objects and throw them at the enemies, which is pretty nice, I guess. Other way to attack the enemies is to smack the ground, and that'll daze them. Or you can just do your great big windy blow and blow them out the way. So as you can see right now, Astal's having a little natter with some of the diamond bastards, and apparently they've stole this bird. Astal couldn't give a shit about the bird, to be honest, but for some reason he just thinks he'll save it. So anyway, Astal saves his bird, and now this little bird becomes your companion, which is actually quite a nice feature in two-player mode, as player 2 actually gets to control the bird. The bird follows you around throughout the levels and can do useful things such as attacking enemies and even find your extra power-ups and so on. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, we've got the little purple energy bar there, and the more that powers up, the more varied the attacks of the bird become. One of my favourite stages here. This is cave stage. I absolutely love the music on this stage. So yeah, as you can see, Astal does look very, very nice. It's got loads of transparencies in there, some very nice scaling effects as well, and everything's big, you know, big and chunky and colourful, just how you'd like it. So what's the problem with Astal? Well, the main problem is they're actually quite boring to play. See, the levels don't actually seem to have much point to them. They sort of go from A to B, which, to be fair enough, is what most games do, but I know, at least you got a little bit of substance in the middle, whereas in Astal doesn't seem to be much there, apart from a few enemies to twat off across the head. Another thing about Astal is that the levels don't seem to be actually linked together very well. You know, just go from one level into a completely different level without actually any sort of a connection between the two. In fact, sometimes the following level doesn't even look anything like the level you were just on before, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, between various points in the game you get these little cutscenes in transparent backgrounds as well, which explain the story of the game. Completely useless to those who don't speak Japanese, but still, nice pretty pictures to look at. One of the more ingenious levels on the game. In this part of the game, you sit on the back of this dragon, as you can see here, and every time you bash it on its back, it sort of stretches itself out, and so it retracts back in. You actually bounce off into the air, which can be quite useful for getting extra bonuses and actually landing on baddies to kill them. Here on the fire stage is a good way to make use of your actual wind attack. So anyway, like I said, Astal is a bit on the boring side to play, which is quite a shame, to be honest. But one of the main things which does annoy me about Astal is the actual controls. They just seem so sluggish at times, and also the collision detection can be off it quite a bit. Such as this level where a jump from platform to platform can be a right pain in the ass on later on into the level, thanks to the dodgy collision detection. See here, one of my favourite stages. This is the S stage. Some nice reflections on here, and some good use of transparencies with the crystals in the foreground. One nice feature which I do like is when Astal gets covered under some fallen snow, he just freezes in his tracks, which is quite nice. So overall, Astal could have been, you know, much better than it actually is. But as it stands, I suppose it's a decent enough first generation Sega Saturn platformer. Only let down by the fact that it's a bit slow, to be honest. And you can see this is the last boss of the game. Some nice effects there for the fire. That's another thing that gets on my nerves about Astal, is the bosses take too bloody long to kill. But then again, that's just because I'm an impatient bastard, I guess. So if Astal was a little bit faster and maybe a bit more variety into the gameplay, I'd probably give it a nice score of 8 out of 10, but as it stands, it's just a beautiful looking game. 5 out of 10. Here we go, a Burning Fortress here for the mobile phone, Japanese mobile phones. One thing you got to notice straight away is from the intro that the polygon models are absolutely solid. Much better than what the Sega Saturn or the PlayStation can do. All spaceships used within the game are full 3D polygons as well. Backgrounds of course are just 2D bitmaps scrolling down. You can see the game's got some really nice special effects in it, such as transparencies and rotation and whatever. The blue laser, which you can actually see, is actually motion sensor controlled, which is actually quite difficult to use, to be honest, because as you tilt the telephone left or right, the laser will actually go to the left or the right of the screen, which is actually quite tricky, so usually it's best not to bother with the laser and just use the normal blaster, which you can see now. Bomb wise, you got two different bombs in this game. You got the standard smart bomb, which you just saw before, which explodes into a big circle, wipes everything out, and also you got one bomb that freezes time. Now when you actually use the bomb that freezes time, which is only available when using the bloody motion censored laser, unfortunately. Well, anyway, when you use that bomb, everything freezes and you're allowed to collect all the bullets, and those bullets that you collect actually give you extra points. Audio wise, things are a bit hit and miss. Some of the tunes are pretty good, such as the one on now, but some of them are actually a bit bland on two of the stages anyway. Audio is typical for Japanese mobile phones. It's a 40 channel SMAF, along with a couple of wave samples in there for explosions and so on. The game itself actually handles really well. The actual playability is amazing, you know, especially for such a small machine as a telephone. This boss, which you can see now, is actually full polygons. It's not some pre-rendered sprite either. Of course, the screen is slowing down quite a bit. You know, you've got such a big polygon item there on the screen. You've got shitloads of sprites as well. But like I said, for a mobile phone, it's very impressive. The slowdown doesn't actually seem to bother you that much as well when you're playing the game, which is good news. You can see that special bomb there where you freeze time and collect all the bullets. Each bullet you collect gives you some bonus points. thing you might be worrying about is how does it actually control using the telephone's D-pad. Well, surprisingly not too bad. Well, not too bad on the sharp anyway. It would be better if it was a bit more of a stick type controller which we're using instead of like a thumb pad. But yeah, it's not too bad. Fire is auto fire, which is very welcome. And you can actually assign all the different keys to a different numbers on the actual keypad, which is quite a welcome thing for a mobile phone game. So yeah, if you're on the Vodafone network, then I seriously recommend picking this game up. Price of only 540 yen or something like that. You can't go wrong. Retrocore is very happy to give Burning Fortress a very nice score of 7 out of 10. Probably one of the best 3D, well, 2.5D shooters out there on your mobile phone. Oh, by the way, I should mention that you need a phone which is compatible with Mega Apply games to run this one. Kenseiden here for the Sega Master System. You may actually know the sequel to this, which is known as Mystic Defender in the West for the Mega Drive. Well, here we have the original. And as you can see, it's not too bad looking for the Sega Master System. The game has you travelling through various parts of Japan, trying to defeat all the different demons and so on. In fact, there's a whopping 16 levels plus in this game. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually mean it's 16 different backgrounds. Some of the levels do actually repeat themselves every now and then with same backgrounds, but with just different enemy patterns, or maybe an actual new enemy or something. But the thing is, you probably won't be seeing all those levels all in one sitting because the game is incredibly tough. The main problem is that our main hero is quite sluggish to control. Well, I shouldn't say sluggish really, more like he's a bit stiff. So sometimes you can have an enemy coming at your feet or whatever, and it's just bloody impossible to hit the bastards. Mainly because your character just will not hit in that direction. Something which Sega certainly needed to look into when making this game, but obviously they didn't bother. Another thing about this game that can be quite annoying is sometimes things will just drop from the sky, such as boulders or whatever, and there's absolutely no way of avoiding the bloody things. You know, sometimes you don't even know they're going to drop, they're just there. This can be very annoying at times. Also, another thing that can piss you off is the way that you get knocked into holes or whatever by enemies. Mainly due to the fact that you can't attack the bloody bastards because the controls are just so slow and sluggish. So throughout certain points in the game you get to come to these little bonus stages here, which let you test out your skill. Unfortunately, if you're pretty crap at the game, such as me, thanks to the controls again, you don't actually get quite far into it. So unfortunately, Electrical is going to have to give this game a very sad score of 4 out of 10. Not exactly Shite of the month, but could be better. Shien the Blade Chaser. So what you do when you want to make an Operation Wolf style game, but fill it full of ninjas. And not only ninjas, but a ninja that can warp back in time. Well, you go ahead and make it, don't you? That's what you do. And that's exactly what Dynamic have done with this game. So as you can see, the first level starts off in typical samurai ninja settings in ancient Japan, and it's up to our hero to throw his shuriken at them or stab them with his little dagger. Actually, only enemies that get closer to you can you actually stab with your dagger, which is actually quite difficult actually when you use the control pad. It's much easier when using the mouse, due to the fact that you actually have to do a quick backwards and forwards, or actually an up and down stroke, to actually kill them. But when you're actually using the pad, that becomes quite difficult. But the levels are like different icons to pick up, such as extra lives and energy and so on, and also some nice magics which sort of act as a smart bomb, wipe everything out in one go. As you can see here, we've got the boss sections, which are done in sort of a 3D effect. This one doesn't look too impressive in the forest, but later ones do actually look quite nice. So now our hero goes off to wherever to kill some Nazis. You know, sort of thing you do every day, really. So as you can see, graphically the game's quite nice, especially for its time. Unfortunately, like I said before, playing with the control pad is extremely fiddly. You know, trying to get the actual target onto the enemies at times is it's almost impossible. You know, especially with the amount of action going on. So I certainly recommend you get yourself a Nintendo mouse to play this one. So as well as the normal levels, you've actually got some training levels as well, which enable you to soup up so as well as the normal game, you've actually got the training levels here, which allow you to practice your targeting. But to be honest, the best thing about them is the music. Just listen to that funky or what? So Shien the Blade Chaser there gets a virtual core score of 6 out of 10. That's better. Shite in the mouth. Go on, you little bastard. Do one. That's right, we got Bastard here for the Super Famicom, and it's this month's Shite of the Month. And absolutely shite it is indeed. Okay, we got story battle, versus battle, and team battle. Doesn't matter which one you choose, because whichever one you choose, you're still going to be playing the same old shite. Okay, so what have you got? You got two guys here, little tiny farm, little sprites, over the Mod 7 background that sort of move in and out of the foreground into the background, and try each other with fireballs, and that's about it really. The controls are absolutely piss poor, very unresponsive, absolutely impossible to aim your bloody fireballs or your projectiles or whatever you're bloody doing. Just complete and utter pure shite. How the hell this got released, I don't know. Absolutely awful. Brand new feature here on RetroCore. This is the Game of the Month. We've got Shite of the Month, so I thought it was appropriate to have Game of the Month. And Space Channel 5 for the Sega Dreamcast is going to be RetroCore's very first Game of the Month. And what a good game it is to start off this new feature. So first thing you'll notice compared to the first Space Channel 5 is the second one is actually full polygons, whereas the first one used to use FMV backgrounds, which while still look good, don't look nowhere near as good as this version. The game itself is pretty much the same as the original. Basically you just copy the commands which are done before you take your turn, but with the new added bonus of being able to push up and down to dodge things. The good old Chew and Haze is still there. Chew to shoot somebody and Haze to rescue somebody. But one thing which I really do like about this version is the ability to use different instruments. As you can see here, we've got a guitar, and one other part of the game is you can actually use a set of drums against the Space Police. You'll also notice the variety of costumes as well Ulala has. Throughout the game you can actually find all the hidden bonuses, and you can actually unlock lots of different hidden costumes which you can access on the options screen later on. Including one of my favourite costumes, a wireframe version of Ulala taken from Rez. As you can see here, we're going to dodge all the different flowers. One thing you might actually notice is the variety of music is a lot better as well than the first game. Definitely the tunes have been thought out a lot more, and looks like they're being able to afford a few more talented musicians as well. And let's not forget the secret guest in this version of Space Channel 5. If you don't know who he is, then I'll keep quiet and you'll be able to see him in a minute. Okay, here he is, the special guest.
Get out of here, you lala.
That's right. Michael Jackson. Mr. Plastic himself looks even more plastic in this game. Or should that be actually looks more realistic in this game? I must say, I'm actually very impressed with the amount of work that's gone into Space Channel 5 Part 2. The dance routines is so much better than the original. And the timing of the actual button presses is a lot better than the original as well. Whereas the original was pretty much perfect. For some strange reason, it always did seem a little bit off to me, but Space Channel 5 Part 2 is absolutely spot on every single time. You can see here a little bit of Michael Jackson style dancing going on. Just wait to see this robot here, this is pure class. Not to mention you get to hear Michael Jackson talk as well. There's some strange reason though, it's meant to be saying dance, but it sounds like Dan. Here we go. So Sega have really outdone themselves with Space Channel 5 Part 2 for the Sega Dreamcast. Unfortunately, a lot of Dreamcast owners didn't even know it was on the Dreamcast thanks to that only being installed through Sega Direct, which is a fucking stupid move if you ask me. And unfortunately the PlayStation 2 version got more publicity, even though this Dreamcast version is better, like all Dreamcast to PlayStation 2 ports. Anyway, so RetroCore is very happy to give Space Channel 5 the amazing score of 10 out of 10. Absolute classic game. there's anyone who can change Splatterhouse into a cutesy platformer, it's got to be the Japanese, hasn't it? This is Splatterhouse Wanpaku Lafite for the Super Famicom, not the Super Famicom, sorry, for the Famicom, otherwise known as the Nintendo to you and me. So this time Jason's out to save his girl, as always, which has been kidnapped by a giant pumpkin, which happens every day really. So our little super deformed Jason character makes his way through the levels, smashing the crap out of everything with his meat cleaver. As well as that, he also has some extra weapons as well, such as a shot rifle, or shotgun I should say, which looks more like a dildo on the icon in the bottom left hand corner, which you'll be able to see later on. Surprisingly, the game's actually quite fun to play, and it still does actually retain some of that Splatterhouse feeling which you're probably accustomed to from the originals. The levels themselves aren't as tedious as the original Splatterhouse games, probably considering this game's made for kids. Well, I say kids, but how many kids are into decapitating zombies? A stupid question really, probably all of them. Audio-wise, the game's a bit of a duffer really. Most of the tunes just sort of drone away in the background, like some wailing cat waiting to be put out of its misery. But there are a couple of one or two decent-ish type tunes there, such as the one playing now in the background, which you use for bosses. Ability-wise, it is quite a nice game. There are a few tricky situations here and there with both the levels, but overall, yeah, it's quite satisfying. And challenging enough to keep even the hardened gamer going for quite some time. Obviously not as hard as the original Splatterhouse, that is. So yeah, Retro is very happy to give Splatterhouse Wanpaku on the Famicom a nice score of 7 out of 10. Not too bad.
Shop X6000 versus Super Famicom.
Here we go with this month's versus section, which is the best version of Phalanx, the Sharp X68000 or the Super Famicom. At the moment you can see the introduction to the Sharp X68000 version, and people who own the Super Famicom or SNES version will certainly know that this wasn't in their version. Does that make the Sharp version any better? Well, you're about to find out. But for now, let's just sit back and check out the introduction and the optional screens to the Sharp version of Phalanx. Okay, so as you can see, it's got you got to put in the extra disc for the actual game to boot up. The intro is just on one separate disc. Anyway, so here we are with the options, and as you can see, we've got typical style options there. But you've also got an extra option to change the music from MIDI format or the actual internal sound chip, which you can hear now. Actually, the internal sound chip does sound a bit more beefier. But unfortunately, when you're playing the game, half the drum samples are missing and half the sound effects as well, so it's much better just to keep on MIDI. Anyway, here we go with the Super Famicom introduction to Phalanx. Just in case you're wondering, the Super Famicom version is actually a conversion of the X68000 one. So as you can see, the intro is absolutely nothing like the original, in fact it's a lot more basic. Interesting point that you might like to know is that the Game Boy Advance version of Phalanx does actually have an intro sort of based on the Sharp version. Why it was based on that and not the Super Famicom version, I don't know, but there you have it. Okay, so checking out the options, you've got your standard array of options, just like the sharp version. But one thing I do like about the Super Famicom version is the music. As you can see, it does actually sound better. Well, I think so anyway. Okay, so let's check out the first level over to the sharp version. After we get past all these Super Famicom options, that is. Why didn't I edit all that shit out? Okay, yeah, so here we are, sharp version, first level. As you heard then, you got a little bit of speech saying, ready. So yeah, the music's okay, it's not too bad. Graphics are a little bit tiny, but they're actually well detailed. And the actual colour palette's quite nice as well. I suppose the game moves smooth enough. The main advantage to the graphics on the sharp version is the sharpness of them. Unfortunately for the mid-level boss, you got the same tune as the actual main level, so the music doesn't change, which is a bit of a shame. There's also a distinct lack of sound effects as well there. The actual main gun sounds pretty pathetic, sounds like someone going pop, 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 pop. And as you can see, blowing up these bombs here doesn't actually shoot anything out, they just sort of disappear really. Actually the main level background there, or the main city background I should say, does look quite nice. Again, nice use of colours and very sharp detail. Okay, here we go with the big boss of the sharp version. Well, at least we got some different music than the main level, that's one good point I guess. Okay, and here we are with the Super Famicom version. Okay, I shall notice straight away the music is completely different. And in a way, I do think it's better. Certainly more pumping than the sharp version. But, oh no, what happened to the graphics? Well, as you can see, the colour palette is completely different. Why on earth they changed it, I don't know. The actual graphics themselves don't look as sharp as the sharp version. Mainly due to the fact that the Super Famicom version does run in a lower resolution. But yeah, it's still not too bad. We've got the mid-level boss here, and as you can see, well, as you can hear, it's got completely different music, which is nice. Also, the actual sound effects are a lot more beefier in the Super Famicom version as well. One thing also in the Super Famicom version which isn't in the sharp is the ability to change the speed of your ship, which is certainly welcome for some of the bosses. Also notice when you're blowing up these mines here, the actual fire out bullets. Super Famicom version is actually a lot tougher than the sharp version, even on the easy level setting. Okay, boss time again. No speech though. You know, it's no great deal. We've got some better sound effects again. Well, maybe better sound effects. The actual bosses look a bit more squashed, but then again that's down to the resolution. But yeah, fairly decent conversion, I'd say. Okay, so let's take a look at the second level. This is the sharp version again. So yeah, it looks fairly decent. Music's pretty weak though, I do think. Now you probably noticed that I'm actually flying in a stream of water which is suspended in between the I don't know what you'd say, suspended in between the roof and the floor, I guess. You know, anything's possible in a space game, I guess. But yeah. Okay, and here we go with the exact same level on the Super Famicom. Yeah, the music's different. Again, a bit more pumping, a bit more adrenaline. Now, one thing which is better on the Super Famicom version is the fact that when you actually go into the water stream, you actually get pushed back. So there's like a bit of tension on the actual ship when you're actually flying through the water, which does make it play that much better, actually, surprisingly. Yeah, so while the Super Famicom version doesn't look as good as the Sharp version, I do actually think it is a much better game. It actually plays better than the Sharp version. You know, the controls have been tidied up that little bit. The music's actually a lot more fitting to the game. While it's not exactly fitting for a space shooter, it is a lot more appropriate than the Sharp version. And actually is a bit more of a challenge than the Sharp version as well. So it looks like for the first time, well, the first time Retro Core anyway, the Sharp X68000 is actually losing out to the console. Fuck me. People say things like this don't happen. Well, looks like they do. Here we go with this month's versus section, which is the best version of Phalanx, the Sharp X68000 or the Super Famicom. At the moment you can see the introduction to the Sharp X68000 version, and people who own the Super Famicom or SNES version will certainly know that this wasn't in their version. Does that make the Sharp version any better? No, this is not some brand new Streets of Rage game which has remained secret over the last 10 years or so for the Sega Mega Drive. This is in fact a brand new remake for the PC, thanks to some very talented programmers from Spain, or it could be Brazil, I'm not too sure whether the main site's Spanish or Portuguese. As you can see, absolutely shitloads of options to choose from, including settings from the original Streets of Rage, Streets of Rage 2 and Streets of Rage 3. It's also remix soundtracks, the original not the original soundtrack, use your own music CD, or have no soundtrack whatsoever. Okay, to start off in this beta version, you've got a few characters to choose from. Of course, I'm going to go with my good old favourite, being Blaze. Can't beat a bit of Blaze action. First thing you'll notice, that kick-ass soundtrack. Just listen to the remix of that. Yep, the original tunes are present, but they've all been souped up, and to be honest, they sound a hell of a lot better. Very nice work indeed on the music. One thing you may notice is the actual shadow settings. At the moment, the shadows are actually complete replicas of the actual sprites instead of just circles, which really makes it look that much better. As far as playability goes, the gameplay is absolutely fantastic. It plays just like the Mega Drive original. You know, the speed's there, the controls are absolutely spot on, and you know, you got a mix of moves from all the Streets of Rage games all in one game here. Absolutely fantastic. Graphically, the game does look a bit 16-bit-ish, but the added transparencies and the actual special shadows do make that difference. And I'm very happy to see that they kept all the original sound effects in, as well as the original speech and everything. That gives it that extra bit of Streets of Rage magic. Unfortunately, on this beta version, the music does sort of repeat every now and then, since it's CD streamed. Hopefully that'll be fixed for the final version. So where exactly can you get this from? Well, as you can see, the address is at the bottom of the screen there. So just head on over to that site and you'll be able to download yourself the beta version. And I suggest everyone does as well, because the more support they get for the beta version, the sooner we're going to see the final version. And believe me, once you play this beta, you'll be dying to get the final version. Let's just hope it's not too long before it comes out. Okay, so while this is only a beta version, RetroCore is very happy to give it the lovely score of 10 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic remake of the original Streets of Rage games. Bomber games have certainly outdone themselves. Let's hope Sega get to see this and see what a wonderful tribute they've been given.